Shalom, namaste, and welcome everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the globe. We are very happy to host this session around green energy. Not only green energy, also related green energy, Israel and India, in a tech. And we have many success stories in this case, and we are looking forward for more and more. And I would like to share with you some of them. So the first one that I would like to share with you, and by the way, I will start with introduce myself. My name is Vered Mivtari, and I am Emerging Market Director at Startup Nation Central. Startup Nation Central, it's a non-profit, non-revenue organization, and we promote the gateway for Israeli innovation in a tech. And we do it in a several way. We have the Finder. It's a powerful database with all the startup in Israel, in all the sectors. It's a one-stop shop of website that we have all the Israeli ecosystem there. It's open, it's online, it's free. It's very easy to find specific technology and even specific subsector or niche that each and everyone look for. And for that, we had many collaboration with India and others around the world. And now we would like to emphasize the success stories between India and Israel in a green tech. So 1 year ago, in the middle of the pandemic, we discussed with an old friend from India. I create an accelerator, government accelerator. We discuss always, and then we discussed how we can elaborate and growing partnership in between India and Israel with startups, but online only. And then we created I3A. It's Israel India Accelerator for access to the market. Access to the Indian market for Israeli startups. So we finished by few months the first cohort, and it was a very successful program, successful cohort. And I would like to share with you some of them from the program and for others, startups and company from Israel and also from India. So I have an honor to start with a very big collaboration and success story, as we call it, but I think that it's a collaboration, and the most important, the context of this collaboration, the way that they collaborate between Sona Comstar, the Indian corporates, and Israeli startups by the name IRP. And we are very happy to see you, Amit, with us. And
Hi.
Hi. So we will start with the CEO of Sona Comstar, Kiran Deshmukh, and please, we will start. We recorded yesterday, so let's start with Kiran, please.
Yeah. Before I will start, I will cut it. But before, just to say your name properly. So, Mar Kiran Deshmukh. Right. So I will stop and start. Hello, Mr. Kiran Deshmukh. It's my pleasure to host you here with us. It's a real pleasure for us to host you and to describe one of the biggest and one of the interesting of a collaboration and success story between Israel and India. So my first question for me to you is if you can please let us know about the collaboration or the partnership with your Israeli partner, IRP system.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for inviting me to join you. And I'm very happy to share our success story. Of course, I think this will become a success once we have completed this. We have just begun. But to share with you this collaboration that we have established with IRP, let me begin with the problem statement. You know, in electric vehicles, we have electric drive motors, and these drive motors have magnets. And drive motors which are used in high performance electric vehicles, because they need to be small, they need to be having a lot of power in them, so power density must be very high. These drive or these motors have magnets which are made of rare earth metals, which are niobium and various different kinds of those metals. And this particular material comes from one country. 90% of rare earths come from China. Extraction of this rare earth is also very difficult. It's not environmentally friendly. There's a lot of pollution that takes place. And because you are taking this material from the earth, obviously you are depleting those source resources as time progresses, and you make more and more motors. And going forward, there'll be a lot more motors made because of the EV revolution which is going to take place now. So the idea here was, can we avoid usage of rare earth metals in the motors? And really, can we have motors made without usage of magnets at all? And with that revolutionary idea, we went to Israel and we looked around, and with the help of iCreate and with the help of Startup Nation Central, we were able to get our partner IRP. IRP brings there are a lot of knowledge and expertise in breakthrough control algorithms for controlling powertrains. Their innovative products offer high performance, a unique driving experience, and advanced functionality. So technologically, it's a very capable company which has potential to develop these control mechanisms. And at the same time, Sona Comstar, the Indian company, has huge knowledge about the marketplace, of the automotive market, not only in India, but globally. We have knowledge about manufacturing, mass production for automotive applications. We work with 0 ppm, which is virtually zero rejections to the customers. So you have on one side the technology company which has got technological prowess. Other side, you have a company which has got the market access and manufacturing knowledge. This is the ideal recipe for developing something like this. So this is really going to be a breakthrough partnership, because once we develop this motor, which will be, as I said, environmentally friendly, it will be also, it will take care of the geopolitics problems, and at the same time it's going to be cost effective, because the magnets constitute 20 to 25% cost of the motor. So if you eliminate them, you're going to eliminate, of course there'll be some additional cost of something else, but you're going to eliminate this. And this we are going to handle through control of the motor. So control algorithm, the hardware, software, they are going to play a major role in this project. Once we develop this, we will manufacture these in India. We will set up a huge manufacturing facilities to manufacture them, because we expect that the advantage that we will be able to provide to our customers, we will actually be required to make very large quantities of this. Indian two-wheeler and three-wheeler electric vehicle market is going to explode in near future. And it's not just Indian market, it's also global market. So we will be manufacturing these products in India, and the technology comes from Israel. There will be continuous upgradation as we go forward. We will learn new things, and there'll be new developments which will keep on happening. So I am really very excited, and I'm expecting that this is going to be a breakthrough for our both countries, and it is going to be a breakthrough for the earth.
Thank you. One more question. It was a gap between your expectation from the collaboration and the real in the end with so from a sonar cancer to IRP system in Israel, the Israeli company.
Well, you see, to begin with, there is always question as to, is the partner right? Is the partner right for you? Is the partner right for the specific problem that you want to solve? And for that, you need to understand the capabilities of the partner. You need to understand what are the interests of the partner, what are the intents of the partner. They need to match, they need to align with your interests. And finally, the commitment of the leadership of that partner company. And this knowledge is very important. And because of the current situation of COVID, we were not able to actually travel and meet person to person. So there were a lot of difficulties in identifying the right partner sitting here. We knew that the solution is somewhere in Israel, because knowing what Israel has to offer in these. But to identify right partner was a big problem. And that's where I think Startup Nation Central came in help, and they were able to, we did meet 3 or 4 partners, potential partners, but we got complete support from Startup Nation Central, and we got the kind of information that we requested, we got it from them, and as a result, we were able to take the right decision and select the right partner. Now, having after gone through the discussions with IRP, and because the project has already started, and we already, because time is very short, we already have moved forward and we have come to certain milestones. And we know now that the partner that has been chosen is the right partner. And thanks to you, we did not have any gaps in this identification process.
So I think in this case, of course, it's a group. It's a group that include, first of all, I create an SNC as a very strong partnership, and then it's been able to us to bring from both sides the best solution, but not only, and what I've heard from you, that the best person or personality a relationship, that it's the most important. It's much more than the solution. For the solution, in your case, it's, I can say, 50% suitable, but you will take the remain, and you will build it together in a very big scale and for a much better future. So I think that it's amazing to hear that, first of all, it allowed people. And I think that is also something between Israel and India. We are so similar people. We are warm, open. We can say whatever we think. We can say it straight and sometimes not so polite. I can say it from the Israeli side, and of course my colleague Siddharth can agree with me sometimes. But I think it's allowed both of us to build a strong relationship and also to take the relationship that already been established and built with I Create an SNC to make it much far than usual in a shorter time. And I think this also example for a very short time that you find the way to collaborate and you sign an agreement, so big and significant agreement. So there, and related that, was the COVID, was any barrier for you in a sense of the collaboration, in a sense of discussion, or and others, or it was a normal? So how was the effect of COVID of your
I just
relationship with
mentioned, I just mentioned a while ago about COVID. I think it played both ways. I think I personally, coming from manufacturing, believe in seeing and believing. You need to see, you need to actually touch and find out that that's how you can actually see and you can understand the other side. It's not just about the thing that you want that you need to see. You also need to see the periphery. You need to observe the periphery to be to understand the strengths and weaknesses of what you're looking at. So when I see this periphery, what I mean essentially is it's not just if I want to have some relationship with a partner, go and visit the partner, meet with the partner, understand what the partner does, but also see things around the partner, the ecosystem there, the so many things, the physical periphery, the psychological periphery, the time periphery, everything needs to be seen. And in COVID, you can't do that. So this is a major hurdle in doing anything like this. And of course, the personal touch, which can always be over a cup of coffee, over a dinner, over drinks, what you get to know about the other person. You can't do it over video conferences. So that definitely was a hurdle. But at the same time, it also helped. We learned new ways of talking to people, connecting with people. It was very easy because availability was not generally not a problem. We could have you, we could have iCreate, we could have IRP, we could have our people all at the same time. Scheduling was not such a big problem that otherwise would have been a big problem. So we could have, probably we had many more meetings in shorter time than what would have been done otherwise. There was no need to travel. So obviously there was that provided for benefit of time, also cost. So I think it worked both ways. But obviously, like humankind always finds a way out from any difficulty. We did the same thing. I think we learned how to behave, how to carry out things in spite of these difficulties, and we're able to do it. In fact, after all this is over, hopefully it will be over someday or the other. Some of the things we have learned, I'm sure we will continue.
Yeah. Thank you. And my last question, what can you recommend for Indian corporates that hear you now from all over the world, but for partnership with an Israeli partner, basically startups?
Yeah, where you just mentioned about this, I think anybody who wants to do any work with Israeli, especially startups, I think first thing everybody need to understand about the Israeli people. As you just now said, and I have experienced it several times, that Israelis are sincere, direct, and honest. So they don't care. I mean, whatever the truth they will say without considering the consequences. You need to understand that. And I think that's something which I think most of Indians are also similar to that. But generally, this is because it's cultural thing. One need to recognize that while dealing with any Israeli entity. That's the first lesson I would want to say. The second is we need to understand the startup mindset. Typically, the process is build something with minimum inputs, something quickly, test the hypothesis based on the assumptions, and validate. And based on the results of that validation, accept or reject quickly so that you can again go back to a new hypothesis. That's the process. That's the startup mindset. So one has to accept that the process of innovation is iterative. It's not that you do something and you will definitely get results. You need to be mindful of the fact that you have to be prepared for failures. And if there is a failure, you need to go back to the drawing board and again start from scratch. So that's very important, and you can't expect the way traditional business is run when you're dealing with the startup. That's my second point. The last point is extremely important, not just with startup, but any collaboration, is that it's like a marriage. You have to give something to take. It cannot be win and lose. It has to be win-win. And that win-win comes only if you understand the other side also. You got to get in the shoes of the other side, understand the pains of the other side, so that you address them. And the other side also has to get into your shoes, understand your pains, and understand and find a solution. So you can't just take. You got to give and take. That's the important thing. These are the things I would like to say if you have to specifically work with a Israeli startup.
Thank you so much for the finish of. We will finish with I'm married. That I like the idea. Then always you have to give a very special trick for the relationship, and I think that is also one of the secret of a long-term good relationship. So thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. Hope to see you soon in Israel.
Sure.
Thanks.
So, Amit, immediately I would like to pass the mic to you and to hear. I'm sure that, after Mr. Kiran Dishmok speech, you have much more to add. And yeah, so please.
Yes, so first of all, thank you very much for inviting me here to share our story. For us as an Israeli company, we saw from the very beginning that India is a huge market, and it took us a lot of time to understand the culture of how to do business with India. We actually were very lucky to meet the iCreate and SNC team and the initiative for the magnetless project. And with this kind of connection, we were able to get in contact with Sona Comstar, and we're very happy that we managed to come into an agreement together. As an Israeli and startup company, we know very well how to design things, how to bring the technology to the edge. But in manufacturing and market accessibility, a partner as a Sona is a huge advantage for a company which actually is relatively small in Israel. So this is the main advantages that we found here. And actually we are doing something that is very exciting for us all. This is an environmental friendly, as Mr. Kiran mentioned before. We are going to do a magnetless system, the motor and the controller, that will be manufacturing by Sona Comstar for India and for the entire world. So it's a very big milestone for IRP as a company. On top of that, I would like to say that this is kind of a journey. When you go into India, it's take long time until you understand exactly to whom you need to talk, who is the right partner for you. And really, we were very lucky to be connected with SNC and iCreate and get in touch and have kind of a bridge between the Israeli culture into the Indian culture. Okay. India is a huge market, a big opportunity, but it's a totally different, I would say, product that you need to actualize, to customize into this specific market. And with the help of Sona Comstar and iCreate, we were able to find the right solution for the Indian market. And we are looking forward to finish this product and put it in the market as soon as possible.
Thank you so much. When you say to finish, what does it mean? Are you going to do it together, or what is the next steps of your collaboration in this sense?
Yeah, so the definition is that IRP will do the design of the motor and the controller, and Sona Comstar will be responsible for mass production. There are things that we are expert on, meaning how to design, how to do a very effective and efficient motor, how to give the driving experience, how to do the right controller and the right hardware. But we are a fabless company and a partner as Sona that have so much expertise in manufacturing will take this design, this product into the manufacturing stage and then put it into the market through the channels or sales channels, and we'll for sure will support each other in this journey. It's not a project for 1 year. This is a journey of a few years, and I believe that this one will be the first one that we are doing with Sona Comstar, and as we are going along, we will have more opportunities and more demands from the Indian market and other places.
Interesting. Thank you. So my last question, it's why India? And if you can give some key message for both sides, for corporates in India and also for startups in Israel and all around the world about the collaboration, and also why India?
So why India? I think this is relatively simple. This is a huge market, a huge opportunity. Electrification is coming very quickly now for the two-wheelers, three-wheelers, and later on for LCVs also. So this is a huge opportunity to get into this market. And if I can give some advice for startups, so you need to understand that when you're stepping into the Indian market, this is a different story. It takes time, it's based on trust, and actually you need to have the right connections or the right bridge that can help you to enter into the Indian market. As I mentioned before, we were lucky to have SNC and I create a specific definition of what they need and put us in contact with the right companies. And we were lucky, so it was relatively in a very short time, but in general, it takes much longer. So be patient, it takes time, define the specific product for the specific market that you are targeting. And if you are have the time to maintain this activity, at the end of the day, you will find the right partners and you will manage to do the right business for India. For big companies or corporate in India, in order for them to find the right partner for them, then I also think that having the contact with specific collaboration of Israel and India as SNC and I create, this is a very good entrance to understand, because SNC is very familiar with the ecosystem in Israel. They can give you a kind of screening and give you the right 5 partners that you need to talk to. And they also can give you some messages that Israeli between themselves can get very easily. And we are talking with other cultures, it's more difficult. So have such an entity in between helps a lot in order to get the right contact also in Israel.
Thank you so much, first of all, for the warm word. And we are really appreciate and we wish you and your partner big success in a short time, in the right way, and in a good collaboration. And that it's helped me to move for one
Thank you
more
very much.
pleasure, Amit Groyer, the VP strategic partnership of IRP from Israel. Thank you so much for joining us today. And now we are moving to friend and also a good Israeli company, Tzur Ben David, the CEO and co-founder of Set Enviro. And I would like immediately to start and ask you, so we have seen that Set Enviro have done remarkable impact in the Indian market. You have more than 350 very large Indian and multinational clients, more than 1,000 systems instead of the field. Preside clients such as Samsung, Honeywell, and you will add more and more, and major airports in India, hospital, hotels, and others. And my question in this case, what is the base of this great successful story in India for Israeli company startup? Unfortunately, we cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now we can hear you.
Okay, great. Good evening. Very nice to see you. I know that you are in India, not virtually.
Yeah.
Which is
yeah.
a
Finally.
nice change. Yeah, which is a great, nice change for itself. Excellent. So City Enviro, basically bringing technology like our technology, which we are basically into very large commercial facilities, factories, power plants, buildings, improving their environmental impact by helping them save water, not use chemicals, reduce their energy consumption on large air conditioning system. And, when we look what we have done in the past 5 years, and as you correctly mentioned, we have really a very large group of more than 350 very large customers in India. And I think when you bring clean and green technology to such an important domain, and everybody knows that India today is suffering from water shortage, and it's going to be really worse. I mean, we already had some real examples happening. So what we focused really to bring the success, first of all, the technology in our point of view has to present a very short return on investment to the customer. I mean, I don't think you can bring technology to the market and ask commercial organizations or hotel or a shopping mall or an office building or pharma company to expect very long return on investment. So all our technology, number one, has a return on investment of less than 2 years. The second thing, which I don't know if most of the companies understand, that after you implement a technology with such large customers, it is really important to partner with them for the long range, meaning you cannot just install it and go to the next customer. You really have to even demonstrate the saving or the efficiency even after you've done it. So basically it means service. We have created a large service organization which serves all of our technologies which are installed. We have 350 customers, but we have more than 1,000 systems already running with the customers. So if you ask me, if I look, what was our success in penetration to this great size of the Indian market, is keeping close contact with the customers, creating partnerships, demonstrating very short ROI, and supporting our technology also after it is installed. I don't think we have a single customer in India who is not very, very satisfied with what we have done for them and how we help them benefit in reducing their water impact, cutting their energy costs, etc.
Very interesting. Thank you for the very important points and input that you share with us. And I would like to ask you about your green technology provide both, as you mentioned, water saving as well as energy saving, and replacement of the traditional chemicals used in a treatment or cooling towers. What is the main drive for your customers to implement such a technology the way you experience today with your customers?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Vered. You really have to look when you're in the market, what are the drives? We are B2B business, we only work with commercial, big commercial clients. First of all, today in India, if you offer water efficiency, water saving, I don't think, and you have something really to offer, which really can give results to the end user, nobody will say no. I mean, really, I can see the change. I'm operating in India for almost 13 years. There is a big, tremendous change. I mean, and now kind of, people say post-COVID. I don't think we are post-COVID yet, but let's say at this point of the time of the pandemic, people really want to invest in saving water and doing big things on environmental. We see it globally, but it came to a point where organizations are really investing into this kind of technologies if the technology is reliable. So water will be the main drive. It used to be energy, maybe, saving power and maybe a couple of years back. Of course, it's still very important. But in India today, it's I can see the change from power plants to commercial buildings. People are very keen on reducing the water impact. I mean, it's very clear after what happened in Chennai 2 years back, when people remember from India that like 2 weeks, there were actually almost no water coming out of the taps. People understand that this is not a joke. Water is going to be scarce, and it can also be possible that a factory which is near a small town, a pharma company which is using a lot of water, if the water shortage will be there, the water will be supplied to the citizens and they will have to close down their factory. So water is really the main drive at this point, what we see.
So my last question, and I apologize that we have only a limited time, very short time, and we would like to hear more and more, and very interesting, and to see that green energy and saving water technology on the mainstream and make a lot of impact and effort. So my last question, what is your next challenge in growing and taking a set environment to the next level and keep your accelerated growth?
What I want to maybe demonstrate here is that we have grown with very large clients. You can see our client base here. And one of the things we are trying to do is growing with all these large organizations in India. And some of these companies also take us to other markets. We have a lot of multinational companies, big companies in India, that once they implement our technology, they have all kind of global sustainability teams. So it's kind of spreading around the organization. So if we took one very large company in Bangalore and they are not using any more chemicals in their cooling towers, then their either mother company or other branches globally are exposed to this, and we are expanding with this globally. So it means one of our next challenges is to grow with these big organizations globally. And the other challenge is we are almost not limited by the expansion rate that the company can grow. It's basically come down to funding, and our potential is so huge, and we're moving so fast, and we basically have to manage and ridiculously sometimes you have to control and slow down your growth if you want to keep your production up to running, service up in place, quality of the technology the way it has to be. So basically the challenge is how to grow fast while keeping the same standards that we are delivering until today.
Thank you so much. You summarize it excellent, and thank you for joining us and for coming and be with us and share with us a very important and interesting input. And now I would like to move into you, Anat, my friend and a colleague from Israel, also to share one more success story between Israel and India. So, Anat, please, over to you.
Thank you, Vered. Very interesting, the companies that you presented. I have another company with me from Israel. For those of you who just joined the session, my name is Anat Bernstein-Reich. I'm the president of TAI Israel, and I'm also the CEO of BDO Israel India Investment Banking. And we have with us Mr. Ilan Ben David, co-founder and CTO of Chakra Tech. So Ilan, welcome this evening to our program. You're all the way from Israel, I guess.
Yes, indeed.
Well, so Ilan, if you can tell us a bit about your company. Did you call it Chakra Tech because you were planning to come to India?
Actually, when we started the company, it was in 2013. We didn't thought at all about the Indian market, but we store energy in flywheels, basically rotating mass that rotate at very high speed. And we looked for a name, and Chakra is a rotating wheel in Sanskrit, and that's why this name was chosen. Only Indian understand it. For all the others, I have to explain.
So it worked well. I mean,
yes,
the name actually set the grounds for your entry to India. So
indeed.
So you're saying that you're doing a flywheel. Can you elaborate? This session is about energy. And of course, flywheel
Yes.
for energy. If you can tell us more what Chakra Tech is all about.
Yes, basically when you speak about energy storage, which is, I would say, a major issue in the renewable energy world or in the new energy world, you have different time scales for storage. Storage for a long time, for an hour or two, and you need also storage for times that are, let's say, between 10 to half an hour. And at that time frame, batteries are actually not optimals because those application needs a lot of cycles and the batteries degrade very fast. And in those application, flywheels or storing energy in a kinetic way, in kinetic energy, has the advantages because it's not limited by cycles. And we indeed developed such a system. Although conceptually flywheels are not very complex, you can think about like a mass and a motor. In practical terms, it's a very complex and difficult system to develop. And it allows you to do a lot of high power charge and discharge cycles without any degradation. And that's the main advantage. The initial market
application,
the initial market and initial application that we are focusing is fast charging of electric vehicles. This application only starts in India, but it's well developed in Europe, US, and China. And those fast chargers, they need so much power. There is a difficulty to install them in many places where the grid is not strong enough. And then we use a system based on our flywheels as a power booster of the grid to raise the power level of the grid from a low level to the level that is needed by the charger. And basically what this allows you is you decouple the fast charging network from the structure of the grid. You put your charger where the cars need them and not where you have electricity.
So you're saying that I can install Chakra Tech at my home? Is it going to be installed in homes?
Fast charging in general are not for home. It's only for public or fleet charging station. The power involved in a fast charger is typically a whole neighborhood, equivalent to the power that is consumed by a whole neighborhood. So it's not something for the home. but it's a critical element to allow deployment of EVs. One of the big issues with EV is what we call range anxiety. Your battery is starting to go down,
right?
And then it's a little bit more pressure than your phone battery goes down. In order to charge your car on the way, you cannot use slow charging. It will take hours. And for that, fast charging was developed. It allows you to charge most of your battery in about 15 minutes.
Oh, that's nice. I'm charging my car today, not more than 5 minutes. Would we reach 5 minutes at some time with the electric car?
Yes, there are companies working on this. However, on the average, refueling time is 11.3 minutes.
Really?
So yes, that's the real number. So 11.3 minutes compared to 15 minutes, it's a difference, but not so much. So I think 15 is a good number. Of course, we will want to decrease it. So you have a shorter charging time. However, this have some impact on the batteries and on the cooling system of the battery system of the car. So I think 15 minutes is a good compromise that we could live it. We have to remember that most of the time people will charge at home and at their office, and most of the charging is not going to be done in the fast charging. Only if you don't have a charger at home or at your office, or you are on the way.
So as you said, your solution is mainly for large vehicles, but it can also be relevant to taxis, e-rickshaws at later stage, I guess.
If you have a center, right now I know that the e-rickshaws and are going into fast charging. They have smaller batteries, so the power levels are not the same like full-fledged four-wheelers, I would call it. But if you have a lot of them, you do get power peaks, and our system can help them.
So let's talk about, let's go back. We understood what is the flywheel, and I like the way that you're using the flush in the toilet to illustrate your system.
Yes.
Actually, that it takes all the water, and when you need it, you use it. So that is actually how your flywheel works. You take energy.
Yes, a power booster, you take, if you use the example, you have a weak power line and you need a strong current to charge the car fast. So you have like a local container, like in the flash tank in the toilet. It's slowly filled by the water until when you need to flush the water, you press a button and you get very strong current. So we do the same. We slowly charge from the grid. When a car comes, we can flush the electricity very fast into the car. Again, one of the main advantage of our technology is that you can do it infinite time without any degradation, which is not the case in other technologies. Another advantage of our technology that it's a carbon footprint, and I would say the recycling and everything is very easy, non-polluting, and it's really environmentally friendly solution. Unlike, I would say, chemical-based solutions, which are actually a big problem, and now people have started to think about what we do with all those batteries that are going to fill the land. There's a lot of effort in recycling. However, the progress is very slow and recycling is very, very complex.
So we are here in this sustainability summit. So we're looking for sustainable solutions. So Ilan, I would like to take you back to, you said 2013.
Yes.
It's way before the e-mobility started. And what were you doing at that time? Why did you Start the Chakra Tech at all.
Yeah, Chakra Tech is my third company. The previous company was in semiconductor space. We developed chips and algorithms for televisions. Actually, it was sold to Samsung Electronics. And once you sell a company, you have some kind of a lockup period where you have to stay and transfer the technology. And I thought what I'm going to do next. And I said, no more application, no more things that are on the cosmetics of things. Let's do something for the earth. I have to tell, I didn't have grandchildren then, but I have to tell a good story to my grandchildren when they ask me, you saw what is happening, what you did to solve it. And I said, okay, I have to do something for the earth. It was clear that energy storage is a very interesting area. And we went, I joined by two friends. We served together in the army and we started. And what was clear that the world is going in the way of batteries, which seems, we speak about environment, but batteries is actually a very polluting solution. I would say it's a storage solution with a lot of side effects, if I would use medical terms. And which we're trying to look for solutions to which are, from one side, give the storage, from the other side, don't have all those side effects, I would say. Their environmental impact will be minimal. And we focused on flywheel and we started to develop it. It's a much more complex technology than we anticipated when we started the company. It took a long time to develop the technology, but now we have it working, deployed, and it's functioning very well.
So what you're showing us is actually the real stations. It really exists.
Yeah, actually those stations are in Europe. We see here 3 outdoor stations, and the one in Leipzig is actually an indoor station. Right now we see the box before it's being installed in an underground garage. So we could do indoor and outdoor installation. By the way, indoor installations are super interesting because there is a limitation on using other technology due to fire hazard. Batteries has a tendency to catch fire, and because fire engines cannot go down into underground parking lots, there's a big limitation about installing batteries in underground parking lots.
And you're saying that your system is safe?
Totally safe. There's no fire hazard. It's totally safe. Fully certified, but except of the official certification, it's really safe. There's nothing to catch fire. It's.
And can you show us the interior, if it's not a secret, to see
Yes,
the
of
interior
course.
of the system?
Yes.
Oh,
So
this is the flywheel, actually.
Yeah, you see a flywheel, and actually in this container, you have a flywheel array. I would like to stress that what you see here is actually a previous model. We're going to launch next year, early next year, a new model, which is much more capable, much smaller, more energy, more power, and less space. And this is it. It works. And what's really interesting about this technology, it works for 20 years with zero degradation. There's no degradation.
I hope that both of us will be here in 20 years to check you up.
I agree.
Why India?
Yeah, I joined the visit of our Prime Minister in 2017, I think. And I understood 2 major things. First, I believe India is the place where things are going to happen in the world in the next 10 years. That's the economy that is going to grow very fast and move from the current GDP per capita which is, I believe, around $2,000 per to a much higher levels, and we have to be there. The second thing I understood, India is, I would say, has its own culture. It's a civilization by itself, and the technology have a perfect fit for the Indian needs. However, our product has to be changed to fit this market. If we look on specifics, Indian electric vehicles have smaller batteries compared to the West, or compared to even to China, and also I would say price sensitivity is much higher in India. Even the temperature range is different. So there are a lot of things that have to be changed while using the technology. We understood that in order to operate it, I don't understand this culture at all. So I have to work with consultant, and we are working with consultant to penetrate this market. And another thing, I understood that I need a strong partner with me to go into this market. We alone cannot operate. Yes, we speak the language, but we don't speak the culture. And we operating in those directions, so we could be very active in India. I do believe that our technology can offer India, both in the EV, but also in other markets, a lot of advantages, which are very interesting. Also looking on India as on the manufacturing capabilities in India to support. Today we manufacturing in Israel. Israel, I would say, is not a low-cost manufacturing country, and India can help us not only to succeed in the internal Indian market, but also in the international market by increasing our competitiveness in terms of the cost of the product.
So you're actually seeing India as a hub for Chakra Tech in the future?
For sure. I would say the huge population, the fact that there is a shortage in oil. So I believe the move to EV is a must for India, but still the grid and generation has to be upgraded significantly. So I do believe that India has a strong need for a good, stable, reliable storage technology like ours. This is from one side. And the other is, of course, I hope we're going to use India as a manufacturing hub, so for the rest of the world.
When are you traveling to India?
Actually, in 2 weeks.
Oh, nice, nice. Wonderful. So thank you, Mr. Ben David. First, I need to mention that you are a charter member in TAI Israel. You are a member in the special interest group of TAI. And we look forward to seeing you in the next events of TAI. Thanks for your time. And thank you, Vered, and all the panelists for this very interesting session. And join us for the next session of our TAI Sustainability Summit. Have a good evening, morning, day, wherever you are in the world. Thank you.